So, what does the sovereignty of God actually mean? Let's break it down. At its core, the sovereignty of God means that God rules over everything: the universe, the stars, the trees, and yes, even your next step. He's not just a passive observer, he's the active ruler, the one holding it all together. Colossians 1:16 to 17 tells us, "For by him all things were created. All things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." From the farthest galaxies to the tiniest atom, everything is under God's control. He's got the universe in his hands. Now think about it this way. When you've got a Rubik's Cube in your hands, it's frustrating, right? You twist and turn and nothing makes sense. But what if you had the solution to the puzzle already figured out? Well, that's God. He's got the whole universe figured out, even when it looks like we're just fumbling through life. But here's the real question. Why does God's sovereignty even matter? I mean, life is busy. We've got a million things to worry about. Why should we care that God is in control? Well, let me put it this way. When life feels out of control, when your to-do list is a mile long, and it feels like the world is in a perpetual state of chaos, the sovereignty of God is the one thing that brings peace. Philippians 4:6 to 7 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." When you know that God is in control, it's like stepping out of a noisy, overcrowded room into a calm, peaceful sanctuary. You can breathe, knowing that your life is not a random series of events. God is orchestrating it all. Let's take a look at how this truth plays out in real life. One of the most powerful stories of God's sovereignty is found in the life of Joseph. Remember him? Sold into slavery by his brothers, wrongfully accused and thrown into prison. He probably thought, "This is it. God's plan for my life is a disaster." But then, years later, Joseph realized that every step, every painful moment, was part of God's bigger plan. In Genesis 50:20, Joseph says to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." God took Joseph from the pit to the palace, using his suffering to position him exactly where he needed to be to save the lives of thousands. God was in control even when Joseph couldn't see it. So, how does knowing that God is sovereign affect our day-to-day lives? Well, it changes everything. It means that no matter what you face, whether it's the big stuff, like a career decision, or the small stuff, like what to have for dinner, you can trust that God's got your back. I mean, if God can control the entire universe, I'm pretty sure he can help me figure out what's for dinner, right? But seriously, when you trust that God is sovereign, it means you can face anything with confidence. Whether it's a job loss, a family crisis, or even a global pandemic, you can rest in the fact that God is not surprised by any of it. Proverbs 3:5 to 6 encourages us. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." It means you can live each day knowing that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating things for your good, even when you don't understand the why of it all. So remember, no matter how chaotic life gets, God is sovereign. He's in control, and he's got you. If you found peace in this truth, or you've got more questions about how God's sovereignty applies to your life, drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. God's got this.